Welcome, our fans. We are back in the virtual studios. A little, little time, not much. Almost. We've been just dealing with a lot of family issues, not problems, issues. Just being, stay at home.
Just life.
Life. That's it. Dealing with that, the COVID, and the whole thing like that. Plus, we've had other endeavors lately. Um, Jason, you've been really pushing along with the TRN. Mine has been adding on to the house physically, so that takes up a little time.
A little bit, yeah. Not much.
But
No,
we
go
haven't
ahead.
forgotten about anybody. It's just we haven't been able to get into it. And we always say, this is a hobby, not our 9 to 5er. So
That's right.
forgive us if we're not here, every Saturday, like Saturday morning cartoons.
Right, yeah. It's a hobby, but we do enjoy doing it when we get a chance to, and luckily today we have the time and we decided to jump back into Memory Jogger since it's been a while. And appreciate you guys being here and give you a little pre-show, what we say,
Yeah.
before we get into the podcast. But we got a fun one today, heading back, I guess mainly in the 80s, and there might be a little early 90s in this topic with cereal, and in particular cereal commercials that we remember growing up. But I would say probably most of it is from the 80s.
Most
But
of it,
we
I would, yeah.
we did a fun. Well, a lot of times we just go off the top of our head, and there's still a lot in our brain that we have yet to put into audio and video form. But it helped, I think, a little bit to put a kind of a list together, and that way we're not talking about the same things, but kind of back and forth. And I thought it'd be a fun idea to try. Hopefully, will work to do some screen sharing today because I put together a YouTube playlist of all these commercials. And Wyatt, I originally had 7 on my list, and you came at me with I don't know how many it was in all, at
I think
least a
I ended up
dozen.
with 14, which I
Yeah.
wasn't intentionally. I just like I don't remember, and I just put pretty much. I started with I remember Golden Grams, I remember this one, I remember that one, but then it kind of spawned into I don't remember all the rest, and then I just put 80s cereal
Oh
commercials in there,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, geez, we'll be here for like 5 hours if we play this thing. So I'm gonna pick a few, and a few
Well,
turned into 14. I wasn't
yeah.
catching up or paying attention rather.
I figured we could go through the whole list, and if it's a little bit longer show, why not? But uh, I didn't do a total of 14. There's a few that I kind of riffed on and did a specific commercial, like with Honeycomb. You had one commercial, and I remembered another commercial, so we'll kind of group that together. But I took it as a challenge, so I went out and was trying to find some that you didn't put on your list to add in there that I remembered. So it should be a fun show to go through. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it
always fun.
was it was it was a fun fun time, and we'll talk a little bit about our. I didn't write any notes down, but talk a little bit about our memories of our cereal rituals and that kind of thing. As kids, if we had a favorite bowl or remember specific prizes and boxes, we'll talk a little bit about that too to kind of riff on that topic. But if you're ready, man, I'm ready.
We're ready to start it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna pull up my notes here and read through this, and we'll get right along.
And if you hear screaming in
Good.
the background, my kids just woke up from their nap.
Well, hopefully we'll get through it okay here. All right. Well, here we go. Welcome to another. Try it again. Welcome to another episode of Memory Jogger on the Rediscover the 80s podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening as we jog our memories and run down a few childhood dreams from the 80s and early 90s. I'm one of your hosts, Jason, who likes to eat the marshmallows first. And part of this complete breakfast is my longtime friend, fellow host, Wyatt. How are you doing?
Good. I don't know. There were days where I wanted the marshmallows first, and I still like Lucky Charms. My kids will only eat the marshmallows, but
Yeah, mine too.
I I have no problem eating the crunchy part. You know, to me it was still laced with sugar anyway, so it didn't matter whether it was marshmallow or just
Yeah.
laced with sugar. Sugar is
Some
sugar to me.
Yeah, some were better than others, but what got me was this part of this complete breakfast. Because did you ever eat like uh, toast, a scrambled egg, a glass of milk, a glass of orange juice, everything that they picture, as
Right.
the complete breakfast? Nobody's eating that.
If you
If we're
did, you
gonna eat
didn't eat for the
more,
rest of the day.
yeah, if you're gonna eat more, you're just going back for a second bowl, right? I mean,
That's it. That's right. I saw that. I don't think I picked up on it probably for the first dozen times before I finally just saw we're supposed to? We're
yeah,
supposed to eat
it was.
orange juice and a glass of milk and the cereal and toast, eggs and bacon and I mean just the whole
Yeah.
like buffet. I'm like,
Well,
well, okay, I'm supposed to. I think I remember asking my dad, why do I don't eat the rest? He goes, well, the cereal's big enough for you. Okay, I just left let it live like it was, but
yeah. It was
man,
yeah, it was a way for them to get away with having sugary cereals. It was kind of like cartoons and having the PSA at the
yep,
end. They
yep.
have a little safety tip at the end just to offset all of the violence and whatever else was going on in the episode to give you a little wholesome thing. And that was a way to you have to show the complete breakfast that not just the sugary cereal is going to satisfy you. You need the full nine to get your
Hmm.
vitamins and minerals, and all that stuff. But anyway, we are, as you probably guessed, up to our episode 22 and discussing our favorite memories of breakfast cereal. Specifically, the commercials is what we'll be talking about. We it was really kind of hard for me to narrow down to just five, and as we talked a little bit pre-show, we ended up doing a list of about 20 or so that we put in a YouTube playlist that we're going to try to screen share with you as we go through here. But it'll be a lot about the cereal memories as well,
Right.
and just that feeling, back in the day of sitting down with a bowl of cereal and seeing some of those commercials on Saturday mornings while we're tuned into cartoons. But before we get into all that, we had a little bit of feedback on our episode 21, which was cable TV. If you can remember back that far, Wyatt. Uh,
Almost a full year. I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, we've done other shows between now and then. If you go over to Masscast, and anyway, wanted to pass along a couple pieces of feedback got from YouTube on our cable TV show. Patrick D said, back then in the early 80s when I was a kid, we only had the basic regular channels, ABC, NBC, CBS, and he's also putting in here CNN, WGN, WOR, and TBS, and had to subscribe to HBO in order to watch Fraggle Rock. Yes. And he put a little laugh out loud there. But yeah, the regular I wouldn't kind of group CNN, WGN, WOR as regular channels, even though they often were grouped with your basic cable package in my mind. Like
They often were, but I don't
TBS.
remember CNN. Maybe it was, or maybe I flicked by it. I remember like the Weather Channel. Now that was part of it.
Right.
But you got the I call it the semi-regional, like we've talked about the WGN, the WR, the TBS. You got those super stations. Um, I don't remember seeing like a national anything except like we've said before, Nickelodeon or MTV or that kind of
Yeah.
national entertainment rather
Yeah,
venue
that was
versus hardcore news or hardcore weather. But I still remember Weather Channel for some reason.
Yeah, I think you're right. They had some kind of 24-hour weather. If it wasn't the Weather Channel, it was something
Right.
like that. And then typically, I think TBS, maybe WOR and WPIX, since those were, like you say, super stations that reached beyond where they were in New York, New Jersey, WGN was Chicago, and other parts of the country. Even though I think they had their local news on every night, but
Right.
there were
You still got it.
movies and everything else that they played. Yeah, you still got that as part of your basic cable. So that was one comment from Patrick. Thank you for that. Another comment from Atari Magnum. I like that name.
Yeah.
On a clear night, I could get Showtime in on Channel 7, but it was kind of fuzzy. Excuse me, it was kind of fuzzy. once on a Saturday night, I caught my dad watching Fraggles, and I thought it was funny because Dad was never the kind of guy to have anything to do with kids shows. So, uh,
Maybe you taught
weird
him
that,
something.
yeah, weird that you could pick up Showtime. It sounded
Yeah.
like maybe over the air, or I don't know if that had something to do with your local cable company there, but I remember like free previews of
Yes.
like Showtime and HBO, and that was really any time I got to watch like Fraggles or anything like that. Some of the movies, that they had showing on at the time was those free preview weekends. So, but still, yeah, that was
Pretty cool,
fun
yeah.
to see. Walk in, your dad's watching Fraggle Rock. Hey, better than my dad, which was probably like old westerns, which did not interest me in the least.
There's only
A
one Western.
rifleman, and
There's only one of them. What's his name? Jeez, I should know. Magnum PI plays in it. What's his name?
I don't know. You mean Tom
Tom
Selleck?
Selleck. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Selleck. He plays in it, and it's kind of a comedy Western. Mostly the typical Western, shoot 'em up, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But someone gets back at him and puts like laxative or something in the beans. And they're all running like a stampede to the outhouses, and then one guy in the background or like on a sunset, you see him run. All of a sudden, he just turns around like, "Yep, I already did it. Too bad." Oh, I laughed my head off. That's the only Western I like.
Alrighty then. Yeah. I don't remember that one. Anyway, that was part of our listener feedback. We appreciate you guys commenting over there on YouTube. And you can do so for this show if you want to as well. Yeah. We'll have it up there. A couple icebreakers I threw in here. I don't know if you brought any to the table, Wyatt.
No,
but
not this time.
The first one I had, this is pretty interesting to me. Konami, who owns Frogger, is making some kind of game show out of it. And as I'm pulling it up here, it's on NBC, the Peacock app. And let's see. Let me read this. The classic arcade game was adapted into a fiercely and ridiculous fun competition in which contestants complete in 12 themed obstacle courses. And yes, that includes dodging treacherous traffic. So this sounds more like, like it says here, it's kind of in the vein of Wipeout or American Ninja Warrior or something like that. They'll have some big, setup and essentially calling it Frogger in real life. But I thought at first maybe that they were just, bringing back one of those old game shows. Can't remember the name of it, where they actually competed side by side for the highest score in a certain amount of time. I don't know. Maybe they'll have that part of that. They got to go through the obstacle course and then play a game of Frogger at the end. But I don't know. What do you think about this?
It sounds interesting. I wonder if it's because they have a lot of competition with Disney has brought out an app that mimics Frogger, but you can pick your cartoon character. But it's like,
oh really?
It's like 8-bit looking Minecraft-y like square dudes, but it's all the Disney characters. So you pick from the princesses to Mickey and Goofy and the whole shebang of characters, except instead of going straight up, pretty much, and left and right, it's angled. So you're moving diagonally, and still making that. I think it's called Crossy.
Crossy Road
sounds right.
Crossy Road.
Yeah, Crossy Roads, and it still has something that traverses, whether it's a monorail or some vehicle that comes by. But it's the same app, except that you keep going. It's not like Frogger where you go to the other end and you're done.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're trying to compete with that by making it into a game show, or if,
I didn't know that was
like,
Disney.
hey, I'm gonna roll the dice and hey, let's go.
I didn't realize Crossy Road was Disney, or maybe
it may not be Disney. It may not be Disney,
characters.
But they have licensed characters. That could be what it is.
Yeah, I've seen the game. A couple of my kids have played it over the years, but it hasn't stuck with them. So, I do know. Well, it's weird because I think. Let's see. I think it's in the same what is it? Namco, Bandai Namco that owns Pac-Man,
Hmm.
because I will bust out the Pac-Man app once in a while, Pac-Man 256, and they have a skin where you can get, it looks like Crossy Road. So it must be
Nice.
in that same universe. But anyway, Frogger. That's I thought that was interesting, making a comeback out of all games.
I just hope
I
you
guess
don't
it
like
was.
use real vehicles or anything and try to hop across a
Yeah,
freeway.
I don't know how in the world you're gonna do that. I
It'll
don't.
probably be something like go-karts or maybe little drone RC cars or something that
Yeah,
you
it's
got to
got to be
run before you
something.
get
Yeah,
hit.
they're not gonna have people running out in front of traffic. I know that much.
We have enough of that
Uh,
in the news as it is.
right. Yeah. The other little piece of news that came across recently, YouTube is really, or at least the official channels, have really started to pop up. And, we've talked about on our Rediscovered podcast shows like the Filmation Ghostbusters and just a lot of those, not necessarily highly um, popular or successful shows, popping up on YouTube with their own official channel and having all the episodes out there. Well, the regular Ghostbusters, or the real Ghostbusters, and the Extreme Ghostbusters, which aired in the 90s, those have now come to the official Ghostbusters channel on
I'd,
YouTube.
I'd seen that, and I'm eager to jump into that because my kids are into the filmation. Actually, my
Yeah.
son is just now getting into it. It was a random thing he saw it, and he loved it. So
Uh,
I wanna start moving over to the real Ghostbusters to see if they like that too, because they
yeah.
liked Adam liked the my oldest liked the Ghostbusters movie, but to him, there's those slow spots in the movie, so he lost interest in it.
Yeah.
So but me, I'm
Well,
like,
yeah.
I get to see Ecto One, I get to see Simon or something.
Yeah. I just thought that was neat. It's hopefully good timing in the fact that, the new movie's supposed to hit in November now, but time will tell. But I did see also that they're doing some special releases around that, as far as Ghostbusters Cereal is coming back, and they've got like Ghostbusters Twinkies out now,
Yeah,
and different things like that. I'm hoping they'll bring back Ecto Cooler as well, but um, we'll see. But I just thought that was interesting. Like GI Joe has been on the Hasbro channel, and they've had a 24/7
oh wow,
live stream since COVID hit, and now just I think within the last week they opened up an official GI Joe channel, and they put some of the smaller series on there, like what is it, Sigma 6 and Renegades. Those series are on YouTube now, so I think it is kind of a thing where I know Real Ghostbusters had popped up. It was on Crackle for a while, and maybe one of the other streaming services, but it seems like everything is kind of coming now to YouTube,
hmm,
and banking in on those ads on apps that don't show ads.
right,
So that's the only downside, unless you've got the premium YouTube channel, which I haven't pulled the trigger on yet.
nope,
Uh, it's getting to be to the point where I'm so sick of the ads that I need to.
right,
Anyway, so that was good news to me, in the fact that we might be able to see a lot more of those rare cartoons that we're trying to cover over on Rediscovered pop up on YouTube on like official channels. And Tubi seems to have hit the jackpot on
oh
some of
yes,
those rare, like, Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I watched an episode of Mr. T the other night, and like I told you, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, which was aired in the 80s.
yep.
That's on there. A bunch of rare ones like that. So that's pretty much all I had as far as Icebreaker goes. You ready to
Well, I do have
to
one I just
get
thought
wet
about.
here?
I'm gonna plug it. The
Uh-huh.
new Tom and Jerry movie that just came out. I did not know. My wife went and spent the money on
HBO.
the HBO
Mm-hmm.
Max app. Holy cow! They left Tom and Jerry's voice original. So the scream they brought it back from the original series. It's
Really?
hilarious. I'm sure
Yeah.
they refined it, mastered it, but they did get it right because Tom screams a lot in that movie. Um, Jerry is mostly the violin, ding ding ding, whenever he's pointing
Uh,
to something. Um, a lot of the stuff, the cartoon, the crashing and stuff are literally excerpts from the original series. So you see everything. Um, there's a more recent cartoon where he's playing out in the music, trying to play piano or play music or something. It's right there in the movie. Then Jerry gets in on the act and steals all the money. It's a I'm gonna plug it because we just watched it last night. It's a hilarious movie. Loved it. They brought
Cool.
Spike. They brought
That's
the
what I'm going to ask if the other characters were there too.
Yep. They brought Spike and they brought the alley cats of Tom's in there.
Yes.
Um, there was one other. Oh, the fish. I don't know if you remember the fish, but on occasion, like maybe 5 episodes of the original cartoon, there was a fish somewhere involved. Mm-hmm. I recognized him right away. It's a yellow fish, and I'm like, geez, they did great. They did their homework on this, and they brought back a lot. So,
well, I had planned on watching it tonight actually, so I'm glad you brought it up with Gigi, and I saw that it had the second highest opening in the box office since COVID hit. So it sounds like it's I don't know what the number was. Obviously, way down from what normal movies would do. But I'm very satisfied with HBO Max too. We've had it for 2 months now. I mainly picked it up to watch the Wonder Woman movie in December, and I'm glad that they're doing that where they're giving you access to it for the first 2 weeks.
Yep.
While it hits theaters, and being able to watch from home if that's your thing, and subscribe. I mean, I don't know how many subscribers they have, but they're pulling in hundreds of millions through the apps by releasing it. So anyway, I think it's a great option to keep you plugged into it, in other words. So cool. Looking forward to it then. Glad you enjoyed that.
Awesome. All right. I want to watch it again tonight.
Yeah.
I'll repeat. My wife is mostly a one and done. Me, I'll repeat 20 times.
Yeah. Well, get it in while you can,
really.
Since it's in there 2 weeks and then it goes away until it comes back around again. But anyway, let's dive into those cereal bowls. Get ourselves wrapped up in milk here and talk about our cereal from back in the day. So what, just off the top of your head, what were some of your favorite cereals that if you got to choose, you'd be grabbing?
Well, I know we talked about this, I think, in our Saturday morning cartoons briefly, but Golden Grahams is one of my favorites. Just the honey and basically pure sugar. One that's not in here that's also a favorite was Buckwheat Cereal.
I do remember you talking. We did talk about this briefly, yeah.
We did, yeah. And it was kind of like I think we dissolved or figured out that there was like a drop of honey or something in there. That's why it was sweet. I couldn't figure out why it was sweet, but that was it. The rest are kind of like hodgepodge. It was all what was probably the cheaper one at the time that was still full of sugar. So we might get the Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles or something like that. But we would get the Golden Crisp every now and then, Captain Crunch every now and then. Most of the time it was whatever was probably on sale or coupons or whatever back then. But my favorites, like I said, was Golden Grahams, the Buckwheat, and I want to say probably Cookie Crisp or Pebbles because I like both.
Oh yeah.
What about you? What was your favorites?
I was trying to think of something that was like a go-to that I would say, if nothing else, get this, Mom. And I don't think I really had one. It was a lot based on what kind of gimmick they had that I think that I fell for. Tied to the cereal prizes, but other things. What was on the box, and one that's not on our list here was Morning Funny cereal. If you remember that, they had like a gatefold or an extra panel that opened up on the box to show you all these comics, like comic strips that were popular back in the day, like Family Circus and Hagar the Horrible and all that. And
back when you read the cereal box and not sat there in front of your freaking phone like this.
Right. You that's what you did. You stared at the box, and whatever box had the most stuff or was most intriguing, sometimes you went for. And for the longest time, I had a box saved just for that fact. But I think a lot of it had to do with what was inside or what these cereal commercials that we're going to talk about intrigued me enough to go out and get something. But a lot of what was new that came along too, like when Cinnamon Toast Crunch came out, I was like, I was stuck on that for a while. And then Fruity Pebbles was always one of those in the back of my head that, yeah, I can always have a box of Fruity Pebbles, but I didn't really have any restrictions on the cereal choices. I mean, sometimes it'd get down to the point where I'm out and I have to have like regular corn flakes that my dad would eat, or Cheerios or something. Cheerios weren't too bad. They were still a little bland compared to other cereals, but I'd always like chop a banana up or something in there to make it a little more tasty.
Now, see, you're inventive. I when we had the bland ones, it never bothered me up until maybe my 30s before I'm like, yeah, I'm done with the bland stuff. Because I actually liked Rice Krispies. I liked Corn Flakes or what was it? Corn Chex or Crispex. That was the other one.
That one was a little bit sweet. So yeah.
But I mean, those I never bothered with. It didn't bug me. I didn't have to add sugar or whatever you did back in the day. I had done that, but I didn't like the super. The like half-inch of sugar in the bottom.
At the bottom, I'm like, yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to the dentist.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't think Mom really let me pour more sugar in. It was more or less, we always had bananas laying around, so I'd chop up bananas and put in there, and that helped a little bit. But did you ever mix cereals? I mean, obviously when you get down to the bottom, sometimes you gotta maybe mix it up, but
on occasion I would. There was a period in my teens, I would do like a half and half. I'd get like Rice Krispies and Pebbles, or it'd be if we got the Golden Grams, it'd be half Golden Grams and maybe half Corn Chex or some kind of mix like that. Because I was finally like conscious, like I wonder how much sugar I'm really inhaling, even though the fact's right there in the box. You can see. It was more like I don't know how much I'm getting, so I'm gonna be semi-conscious, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's be semi-healthy and mix. But there were times where it was exactly that. I'm scraping the bottom. Okay, it's going to be 4 cereals today.
Yeah, that was mainly when I was mixing. I didn't do anything on purpose like, Mom, give me a box of these and a box of these, and I'm going to try to mix. Unless, which a couple on our list had 2 options in the box for you to mix. And then that way you could, that was the fun part of mixing then. But easier part than convincing your mom to buy 2 boxes. But that was something that just kind of came to mind too. Well, did you have any rituals as far as eating cereal? Maybe a favorite bowl you had or favorite place to eat? I mean, obviously on Saturday mornings, I think we were both kind of in that same mindset. You grab your cereal and you sit in front of the TV. But any other rituals you had?
Not too much. If it was a school day, it was pretty much the same. You just came down, grabbed the bowl, and poured it, ate it as, I won't say as fast as you could, but pretty much, you were on a ticking time. Okay, we gotta get ready and get out the door. There was a period, obviously, when I had my Duke's collection. I got the Duke's bowl at one point. I don't know where ever happened, or whatever happened to it, but I did try that. But after a while, my mom actually paid attention to how big that thing was, because it's more like a dog dish than it is, a regular cereal bowl. So she's like, yeah, no, we're going to leave that for chip night, which was, watching Airwolf or Knight Rider, whatever chip night was. So that went away on Saturdays. But there was no favorite bowl. We had the standard, whatever was semi-marketed at the time, in the department stores. We didn't have Walmart at the time. We had Kmart or Ames or Lightsingers. So, whatever they got at that time, but who knows what it was. So.
Yeah, Tupperware. Tupperware is what Mom.
Well, yeah, your mom sold that stuff. Yeah.
She sold that for a while. So I remember these kind of hard plastic yellow bowls that we had. I don't remember ever having a specific bowl off the top of my head, as far as that goes. But I do remember every once in a while the dishes would be piling up or whatever, and I'd have to grab one of our salad bowls, which was those little wooden salad bowls.
You get
I'd
about
be eating
4
out of
cereals out of
those.
that one.
Yeah. So yeah, those are my memories. Mainly the Tupperware style bowls, and every once in a while having to eat out of one of those wooden salad bowls. But it didn't matter what was into me. It was, that was my meal that I could make myself, as a kid.
Did you have any rituals? Like there was a have to?
Not really. Like I said,
Yeah.
it was the only ritual was Saturday mornings, and I remember once in a while we had a little futon chair that folded up, and it was so it was like 2 layers, and then you had the little layer for your
Yep.
like back, and then you could fold it out and become like a futon bed. And I would lean that thing up like this, like a lean-to almost, and then I'd drape a blanket over it, and that was like my little fort, my little place, and right in front of the TV, eat my cereal in there, and in my own little futon tent.
Yeah.
That's as far as rituals go. That was pretty much it. But any specific prizes you remember enticing you to buy the cereal?
There was one, and I can't remember which cereal this was, but it had the 3D glasses in it. When you put it on, obviously you could read the box because it was 3D. But I don't remember it being all that stuck out 3D-ish, like you would at the movie or something.
The red and blue 3D, you mean?
Yeah, I just remember being able to. I think maybe it was like Captain Crunch or something. It was a decoder instead of thing. You did one. I don't remember. I know we should remember this, especially with me and my memories. I can't remember many prizes, except for maybe mazes or something on the back of it, or like you said for the morning funnies, comic strip. I don't remember that much of prizes. Do you?
I remember a few. I don't remember the glasses though. It sounds kind of familiar, or probably around the 86, 87 era. Because I have my GI Joe sticker book has a like hidden decoder thing where they gave you just a red screen, and there would be places you just hold that up in front to read a message or something. That sounds more like something to do with cereal. Wacky wall walkers, you remember those?
Yes.
Those were those little sticky spiders, and you chucked them against the wall, and then they would stick, and then they would kind of keep sticking. They kind of fall a little bit and leave this like trail of slime on your wall that Mom would yell at me about. Even there's a cartoon special on Wacky Wall Walkers I had forgot about only up until I did that article on Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, because they were both in it. I might have been around Christmas time too. Anyway, you'll have to check that out. I remember those. Captain Crunch had these glow-in-the-dark acrobats that were plastic, and there was a little guy on a little pole, and you could fling the pole, and he would spin around, but he was glow-in-the-dark. I remember having that. There was a little Tony the Tiger that was real skinny, like a capsule or something you might say, and you could put it in a 2-liter bottle, like full of water, and you leave a little space in there. Well, anyway, you needed the cap tight once he was in there, because you could squeeze the bottle and he would go down to the bottom of the bottle, and then you release it and you go back up to the top, that kind of motion. Little things like that. There were some Garfield pencil toppers, I remember, that were in there. Captain Crunch, I think, was the one, at least going back and watching commercials over the years, it seems like it had the most gimmicks of all of them. It was always something.
It did. That was the
in
one
Captain
that
Crunch.
you could call an 800 number and talk to Captain Crunch. And I remember calling that
yeah.
several times.
Yeah, I mean, there was always a gimmick with Captain Crunch.
So I'm actually just scrolling. I just did a quick Google, cereal prizes. There's a guy that actually has a collection here. Website is flashbackbak.com, and then he has a page for cereal box prizes from the 1970s and 80s. And I'm going through, and a lot of them are stickers or like bazooka gum, or Rice Krispies has this glow in the dark skulls. They had one here where it's Corn Flakes had like a kind of like scuba guys that kind of floated ish. Frogman,
There's
U.S. Frogman.
now one other one I was going to mention. I want to say it was Alphabets. I could be wrong though, but it was like an actual plastic transformer. And I had one that was like a space shuttle that you could transform because I had it with my GoBots and stuff. It was about that size. I can't remember the actual names of them, but it was like a knockoff plastic transformer that came in. I think it was Alphabets, probably in the mid or towards the late 80s. But yeah, I mean, I was a sucker for those kind of things. And I think some even had like those paper thin records, with songs on them.
I just passed one here, and it's on is the Beatles, Rub-Ons, Beatles Rice Honeys, and it's the Yellow Submarine, and it has 3 songs on a 33 and a half, 33 and a third RPM, Sugar Daddy, Going Back to Indiana, and Who's Loving You.
Yeah, I was a sucker for the prizes though. That's what oftentimes directed my my purchase thinking, or at least what I was telling Mom to go get.
Oh, of course.
All right, were you ready to dive into the commercials?
I am ready. Let's go.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to pull this up, people, and those of you watching on YouTube, do a little screen share here as we go through our list, and hopefully you on the podcast side will be able to hear it as you're listening as well. So the first one out was a pick by Wyatt for Golden Grams, and it uses the song Happy Together. Let's watch this.
So happy together.
The Honey and Graham of Golden Grams.
Honey sweet and Graham crisp. Together there is more to love. They never miss a part of your complete breakfast. Such yumminess. So happy together. Ooh, that golden honey and Graham cracker taste of Golden Grams. Graham and honey, happy together.
Now, that's probably stuck in all of our heads for all of time. But
the only thing I don't remember some, the elephant little scene. I remember everything else. I remember the one kid. I still remember to this day, the one kid where they're throwing the ball and it misses him, and instead of looking back at the kid, he looks at the like his mom or producer on the far right. Like he's just kid's supposed to be here. He's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Way off screen.
I had forgot about that commercial altogether. That's a good one from Golden Grams. All right, my first choice
is Nerds.
Nerds cereal. Yeah, you remember Nerds?
Oh yes. I can't forget that with you around.
Yeah, here we go. Eventually.
Big question about new Nerd cereal is which side? Orange flavor on this side. Orange. Cherry flavor on this side. Cherry. So, which side?
They're both so delicious, I can't decide.
New Nerd cereal is the fruity good part of your complete breakfast. Which side are you gonna eat first? Also available in grape and strawberry. Nerds.
And that
so
was
there
one
was
of your
Nerds.
cereals that you mixed around, didn't you?
Yeah, I attempted it at least. So I don't know, that cereal was very tangy, if I remember right, and didn't always mix well when you had those really distinct fruit flavors like orange and cherry, or whatever, orange and grape. But the one thing about Nerds too that I remembered was they had an offer for the split cereal bowl. So do you remember this? So you could there was a little divider in your cereal bowl that you could pour like your orange in, you pour your cherry in on this side, and then get the milk, and then it had a little gate almost at the bottom to kind of let the milk go together, and you would get a little bit of a mixture at the bottom of the bowl. I was thinking I had the bowl. It could have been our mutual friend that had it, but yeah, that's a big thing when I think of Nerd cereal. I think of that Nerd's bowl that was split in half. Anyway, the next one is your classic one, Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the Cookie Cop and the Cookie Crook.
Look over a Cookie Crisp. It's the Cookie Crisp.
Just checking the traffic. Cookie Crook, this scheme to get Cookie Crisp isn't taking off.
Who can blame me? It looks like little chocolate chip cookies.
But Cookie Crisp cereal stays crispy in milk, and it's part of this complete breakfast. Well, Cookie Crook, it's time you started a new career.
Yeah, this one's definitely winding down.
If you like cookies, you'll love Cookie Crisp.
Chocolate
would
chip
have ever
cookies
thought?
for breakfast.
Yeah.
That was this era is what really captures your attention, was the live action and the animation in one commercial.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and Cookie Crisp is one that I immediately think of when you think of, mixing that together. The other is Rice Krispies. There's one that we're going to be watching here in a minute with Rice Krispie commercial that's got the snap, crackle, and pop with the kid, And I think a lot of that was like, like your cartoons are coming to life or
That's
in
it.
real life to get you to buy the cereal. The next one is my choice. Another one that mixed together, the Nintendo cereal. You remember this?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mario and Link.
It's for breakfast now.
Nintendo,
It's the cereal. Wow.
Nintendo,
Super Mario Jump.
Nintendo,
In a fruit flavored crunch.
Nintendo,
Here's Zelda too.
Nintendo,
It's very good news.
Nintendo,
You just can't. Nintendo cereal system is a super part of this nutritious breakfast.
Nintendo,
2 cereals in one. Wow.
I love they called it the system, the
Yeah.
cereal system,
That's awesome.
What a gimmick. But that's the one I remember combining the most. And it came in 2 separate bags, so you got 2 small bags in your box. And if you want to, they were close in flavor, unlike the Nerds. So it worked out a little bit better when you mix the Nintendo cereal. So those were good. Speaking of animation, coming up to the next one, which is Fruity Pebbles. And check out this one.
You watch me get Fred's Fruity Pebbles. Who are you? I'm the master rapper, and I'm here to sing. I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way.
He loves Fruity Pebbles in a major way.
The bedrock, yellow, orange, purple, lime, and red. But to get the fruity taste, I gotta trick Fred. Fruity.
To get the fruity taste, he's got to trick Fred. Bonnie,
Yes, that's a wrap.
most Fruity Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba dabba delicious.
Dabba dabba delicious.
It's funny now with the kid settings or the made for kids settings that they have on YouTube. Some of these commercials they're not allowing to put into a playlist. So like the one that you picked had like a whole string of commercials,
Did it?
and it wouldn't let me add it to the playlist. So I just picked one, and I happened to see that one where they're rapping. I'm like,
That
yes,
works.
that was great. So that was, I mean, talking about a staple throughout the 80s and even now is that, Fruity Pebbles with
Oh,
the
yeah.
Flintstones. So good choice on that one.
That moves
All
us
right.
on to your choice, which is the Ghostbusters.
Now this one, you'll see why.
There's a cereal in the neighborhood. New Slimer ghosts, fruit flavored oats. Ghostbusters with milk and juice and toast. A complete breakfast with the ghosts.
I told you it's glowing. It's the real Ghostbusters Cereal.
The first cereal box that glows in the dark.
Yes.
With 4 glow-in-the-dark Ghostbuster trading cards.
Slimer.
You gotta have it. The first cereal box that glows in the dark.
Now I remember specifically seeking that one out because that had the freaking cereal box that glowed in the dark, you know. Oh
Nice.
gosh. So I don't remember too much about the taste. Like it's, you know, the commercial says it had like marshmallows and stuff, but anyway, that that Ghostbusters commercial was great.
Yeah.
Now I think I might have did I skip one here? I might have skipped one here of yours.
Next one should be Lucky Charms.
That might be one that I couldn't find one to add to the list, but Lucky Charms was always, you know, Lucky, and they were always after his cereal.
Oh yeah.
And that was a huge gimmick. I remember like a continuing story throughout commercials with Lucky Charms of the marshmallow colors are mixed up, or there's a new marshmallow, the red balloons or whatever, you know.
Right.
So they always manage to do something new to get you to want to buy a box.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, it's just it still is the basic, you know, regular cereal with the marshmallows in there. It wasn't anything special about it.
There's places around that sell just the marshmallows. And
That's
it's
right.
hilarious to see that, and you're like, geez, where was this when I was growing up?
Right. Yeah, add to your hot chocolate. Yeah, definitely.
Or just
All right. Let's see if we can get to the next commercial here, which is Pac-Man cereal.
Yeah.
I had this one back in the day.
Do it. You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man cereal. You can do the Pac-Man with Pac-Man marshmallows. You can open wide, gobble up the score, stand hide inside. Marshmallow orange, red, pink, and blue. Gobble up good, or they might kill you. You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man.
Packed with marshmallows and corn pops, Pac-Man cereal, part of a good breakfast.
You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man.
That was ridiculous. That dance. Little Pac-Man fever there, you know.
Oh yeah.
But that was another one too. Like, so you had the cereal itself was the pellets, you know, like the power pellets, and then
Right.
you had the marshmallows that were Pac-Man and the ghosts. So you
Right.
could mess around with it, you know, in your cereal to line them all up, pretending he was
Heck
eating
yeah.
the ghosts, you know.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then next up is Fruit Loops. Now, Fruit Loops is a classic, dating way before our time, but Toucan Sam, I'm gonna watch him.
That's a talented nose.
But wish you could find me fruit flavors like you can, Toucan.
Come, we'll follow my nose. Come in. It always knows. For flavors of fruit, just follow my snoot. That's a snoot. Those natural orange and lemon cherry tastes. I can smell my Fruit Loops any place. Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Now that's a seal of approval.
I wish
He'd
the
always
volume
follow
was
his
a little louder,
nose.
but
And
yeah,
there was one cartoon, it might have been a little bit more like 90s, but where his
sorry.
but his cone, his beak like changed colors briefly, like he was being scrambled or something. I think there was a time where they scrambled up the fruits or something. Maybe it was tropical. Did they do it? Yeah, they did tropical Fruit Loops for once.
That could be, you could be right on that one. Yeah. That was a gimmick, so to speak, for a while.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm going to move this over to the default view just so I can see what's coming up next. Honeycomb. Now, you initially chose Honeycomb, and Honeycomb was one that was definitely on my list. And this is the commercial I remember growing up the most for Honeycomb.
Come on, you guys. It's only a little. A hungry giant.
Hungry for a big honey taste.
Big things, Honeycomb, big things.
Honeycomb big. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not
I remember the commercial. I forgot that Andre the Giant was there.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That was the thing that just reminded me. I was like, yes, Andre in the Honeycomb commercial.
And it's
Always
funny
loved
that they
that
have
one.
to break out the ruler to prove that, no, it's 1 inch big. It's a huge cereal, not the little
Right.
dots you get.
I remembered the robot too. Did you remember the
Yeah,
robot?
yeah, I remember the whole commercial except Andre. I don't know why I somehow forgot Andre being there.
All right.
That's cool.
Next
Now we got
is
Frosted Flakes.
B-5-O-hum.
Or for Andre.
Come on, you guys. Only a little.
Trying people. I'm sorry. It's
We're not VJs, we're DJs.
it's slow today, and every time I'm clicking the wrong thing here. So next is should be Frosted Flakes commercial. That was Wyatt's pick.
You two want to take a horsey ride?
Uh-oh, Tony.
Sure, but first we'll start with the complete breakfast, including my vitamin pack Frosted Flakes. They bring out the tiger in you.
We'll see how good you are.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great!
Show 'em you're a tiger. Show 'em what you can do.
Go, tiger!
Taste of Tony's Frosted Flakes.
Can they ride?
Brings out the tiger in you.
And you.
Again, the live action with the animation.
Yeah.
That was a staple
It was.
for Frosted Flakes, and they're
We
great.
lost that the original voice, about 5, maybe plus years now?
I think you're right. Yeah. The name skips me, but yeah. I'm trying to remember what else. We could do a whole show on the voice actors too, on all these.
Oh, we could.
Another one that I looked up because I was trying to think if it was somebody I recognized, which I didn't, but that's the next one for Super Golden Crisp and Sugar Bear.
My Super Golden Crisp cereal with 8 vitamins makes this nutritious breakfast really neat.
I just love that sweet, crispy wheat.
Doobie-doobie-doobie-doo. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. What's up, Croc?
Don't be bashful with that box, Sugar Bear. Put the pole in the bowl.
Time for a vitamin pack punch. In case you bit off more than you could chew. I can't get enough of Super Golden Crisp. It's got the crunch with punch.
Yeah.
Love them.
That's what I remember the song, especially, or just him kind of humming along. In his little can't get enough of the Super Golden Crisp,
Thurl Ravenscroft was the voice of Tony the Tiger from 1953 to 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been kind of looking too as the complete breakfast. Have you been seeing those? So
It's all of them. And then you'd read, you don't pay attention when you're a kid, but they're fortified with minerals and vitamins.
Yes.
So it's like, wow, okay. So they had to inject stuff to make it even somewhat healthier.
But it seems like the consensus is you got your bowl of cereal, depending on what it is, they have fruit in there. Yep. And then you have your 2 slices of toast.
Or a muffin. I did see a muffin somewhere.
Okay. And it seemed like there's like a glass of milk and orange juice that you're supposed to drink. That's your complete breakfast.
So the milk of the bowl is just not enough milk. So you have to have another, quart size, glass next to it.
All right. So next up, we've got a back-to-back with Rice Krispies. Because that was on my list too. It was on a specific commercial. Let's watch.
Hey, guys, what you listening to?
Pop music. Snap, crackle pop music.
Can I listen too?
Sure, just pour the milk for a live performance. Snap, it's the snappiest sound to do. Crackle keeps you cracking because it's crispy through and through. But there's no stopping once pop starts popping. Snap, crackle, pop, talking just to you.
That song sound system.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies, the talking part of this complete breakfast.
Great show, guys.
Rice Krispies is always music to your ears.
And now the next one. See if you recognize the kid.
Wake up, guys. We got work to do.
We do?
Well, I've got to get out the morning edition.
And we've got to get out the breakfast edition.
What's it say?
Snap, crackle, pop. What else? Snap, it's the snappiest sound to do. You gotta get cracking when crackle comes through. But there's no stopping once pop is popping. Snap, crackle, pop, talking just to you.
Sounds good.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies, the talking part of this complete breakfast.
Good work, guys.
When it comes to breakfast, we deliver.
You recognize the kid?
It looks like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not sure though.
It's not. No, it's the kid that was in the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone, where they're arm wrestling, and he plays his son.
I never seen that movie.
Never seen. Oh gosh.
Wake up, guys.
Whoops. Yeah, let's
Repeat
this. Next up, we've got
Frosted Mini Wheats.
This one hit me like a ton of bricks that you picked here.
Yep.
I had forgot about this one.
I love the crunchy wheat taste of Kellogg's Mini Wheats, but the frosting side agrees with the little kid in me.
The whole grain shredded wheat side, to me, is quite superior. The light frosting, this is my girlish interior.
Kellogg's regular and apple frosted mini wheat cereals, part of this nutritious breakfast.
For me, the manly side of Mini Wheats is fitting. But the frosting is good too. And I'm not kidding.
That was a great gimmick.
I remember the changearoos that they did, but I don't remember the apple flavored Mini Wheats.
Yeah, I don't didn't remember that one either. But the gimmick with the kids, the parents becoming, or the adults becoming the kids in the same clothes. That was great. Next, the monster cereals. Some that I chose.
They're coming!
Marshmallows, Frankenberry, and Calchocula. Now all the monster cereals have bigger monster-sized marshmallows. Calchocula has enormous chocolatey marshmallows. It's a delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. New monster marshmallows are here.
The monster marshmallows are here. They're everywhere.
Whoa!
Nice. Larry Kenny playing Count Chocula.
I was just going to ask you if you remembered.
I know now after our RetroCon extravaganza. I follow him on Facebook. He just had an anniversary, I think today or yesterday, with his wife.
Yeah. Next one, you chose Mr. T cereal.
I actually thought you would have picked this, to be honest, but I'm like, I remember this, so I'll pick it just in case.
I know Cool, and Cool's teaming up with a good balanced breakfast.
Teaming up with Mr. T Cereal, that's getting on the team that knows how cool breakfast can be. You get a crispy corn taste with a touch of brown sugar. Teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T, golden sweet crispy teas. One bite and you're gonna be eating with a team that's teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T. I pity the fool who don't eat my cereal.
Exactly. Yeah, that was it, definitely. It obviously ties in. Yeah, the Mr. T cereal obviously ties into the cartoon because they got the little people, in there from the cartoon series. Yes, Rocky Road was one of my favorites.
It's new Rocky Road cereal with Choco, Van, and featuring Marcia.
Choco chocolatey puff, it makes my heart sing. Then vanilla puff is such a tasty thing. But Rocky Road's got something special for you. It's got a chocolate and nutty coated marshmallow too.
New Rocky Road cereal. Little marshmallows with a chocolatey nutty coating mixed with
Oh,
vanilla
so
and chocolate
good.
puffs. Part of this complete breakfast.
Waking up to Rocky Road makes your head sing.
That one, those chocolate covered marshmallows, were insanely good. Oh gosh.
I think that's one of the few things I remember about being up at your house. Actually, I think that we had that.
Yeah, at
whenever
Rocky
I was a
Road.
kid, stayed in the night.
All right, next is Trix. Maybe. I think I actually went back to Rocky
It's
Road.
new Rocky Road cereal with Choco.
He's loading our cart machine, guys.
Yeah. All right, come on. See, I hit the button to skip ahead, and then it ends up hitting
Rewind.
Yeah.
Darn cassette players.
Here we go.
Way to get fruity tricks. Better hop to it. This is my best disguise ever. But this bunny loves tricks. A fruity part of his complete breakfast.
I wonder what he wants.
I want the great taste of orangey oranges, lemony lemons, grapey grapes, all in tricks. Yippee!
Something's up. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Animal haters.
Tricks, yeah. That was a staple, that commercial.
Oh, yeah, there was plenty of commercials with him. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Yeah. Good choice on there. And then next we've got 2 Captain Crunches back to back here. One that you picked, which was the Christmas Crunch, and then another one here that I found.
Just in, Captain Crunch captured by Soggies. We're famous.
The Soggies.
Free the Captain,
Yep.
you get a chance to win a $100 share of the $1 million reward in the Free the Captain sweepstakes. Specially marked boxes give you 3 games with secret phone numbers to tell you which place.
There you go.
store,
Yep,
which
that's what I
place.
called.
Your parents can help you call. Thousands will enter. Answer right, you could be one of 10,000 winners. To enter free, write Free the Captain, Box 3100, Syosset, New York, 11775.
And I did.
Out of this crunch. Sog.
Never won $1 million, so
And then
Called
the
a lot.
Christmas Crunch.
It was a bit before Christmas, and all through the house, nothing was stirring, not even a... I ran to the kitchen. What could it be? Christmas crunch from the Captain to me.
This crunch is special to make breakfast merry. It's loaded with yummy red and green crunch berries.
Very sweet, delicious.
But it's only here till Christmas. Christmas crunch is a very merry part of this balanced breakfast.
Great.
You can get one of 4 jolly ornaments.
It's a soggy.
Bananas play or ski.
Gimmick.
One in each specially marked box of Christmas crunch.
1988.
Oh gosh. The Captain and his gimmicks.
Oh yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is up next.
Hello, Mother.
Hello.
We're the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bakers.
I know.
Of course you
There's
do.
the live action with the animation.
It does taste like cinnamon toast.
Like homemade.
We use the finest ingredients, like whole wheat.
That's good.
With sprinkles of real cinnamon and sugar. Less sugar than most kids' cereals.
I was a sucker.
Bacon homemade taste.
Better leave some for the kids.
In the cinnamon toast crunch.
That was very good. A very good cereal. And then you picked this classic one just before the 80s, but it ran in the 80s too for Life cereal.
Yeah.
Look at this stuff. Some cereal is supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
There are 2 kinds of Life cereals to please all kinds of kids. Regular Life and Cinnamon Life. Make Life cereals part of your nutritious breakfast.
Cinnamon Life. Yeah, that was where it's at.
What?
I remember later in the 80s, he came back, I think, for a commercial.
Maybe. I don't remember quite that one.
Yeah. Last one is Alphabets.
Why are alphabets fun to eat? Because you can eat the fun.
F is for fire truck. There's a fire truck in my alphabet. How does it taste? D is for duck. There's a duck in my alphabet. How does it taste?
Alphabet cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. You can eat the fun.
Gimmick.
The best. And yeah, right.
Did you remember those?
I don't remember those. I remember
voiceover.
alphabets. I don't remember those voiceovers. Not at all.
Oh yeah, that was that was great. They
And
have the
again,
little
there's
sounds.
several out there. I didn't realize that people. We talked. It's probably been a few episodes ago about. I think it was the VHS episode where we talked about where people are now hungry for those commercials. Where before, when we were kids, we're like, no, stop, pause, no.
Yeah. Don't
But
record
now
them.
we
Everybody
want
wants
them
the
because we miss
full
them.
experience. You want the full experience, yeah. There's channels. I think it's just called retro commercials or 80s retro commercials, just full of little blocks of commercials that they recorded from a movie or something and thrown up on YouTube. I could watch that all day. That's just me though. So anything that stuck out there in our little journey through cereal commercials?
A lot of it's I would call it almost staple for 80s. You got the Flintstones, you got the Tricks, Cookie Crisp became kind of a staple there. They were all like, wow, yes, I remember. Yes. I remember them all. It wasn't like I may not remember the exact episode like the Alphabets, but I remember Alphabet Cereal and some of those commercials. There was a lot of for me, it's nostalgia. I know that's what you're like too, but I make connections, right? You remember the futon making a tent. I remember grabbing my I was kind of like a Linus. I had my blanket everywhere, short of everywhere in the house, not everywhere in the wherever out in public. But I would grab that cereal bowl. I would throw that blanket on me, and I would just sit there lengthwise down the black, all like jet black couch, face. That's where the TV was. Unfortunately, it didn't face like, forward of the whole like three or four people sitting. It sat like this. So if I was up first, which typically I was, I got first dibs at the cereal. I got first dibs at the TV, and I got that little seat. My poor sister had to deal with the love seat, which actually faced that, but she couldn't recline unless she wanted to, look
Go
left.
sideways. Yeah.
So, but I remember all of that. I can remind, just like almost like it was yesterday. I remember that. I don't know if it's the same with you. Remembering the commercials, watching whatever it was, Mask or Pee-wee's Playhouse or whatever the genre of the day was.
It's like I said, it's instantly tied to Saturday morning and the cartoons mainly for me, and it's pure nostalgia. I don't eat a lot of cereal anymore. If I do, I'm snacking on their cereal late at night or something. It's not with sitting down with a bowl of milk and all that. That's not my morning ritual. It's coffee now and maybe toast, or I make eggs or a biscuit sandwich or something for myself. But cereal really isn't part of that routine. So it being such a routine as a kid, that's what I think that nostalgia really kicks in when you're watching these commercials, and even heading down the cereal aisle now and still seeing those staples that we had as kids in the 80s that are still going strong now. So
I'm still a cereal junkie. I don't have it all the time for breakfast. In the typical sense, a bowl of milk and whatever, but I actually now carry, because I get up so dang early. I'm on the road at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'll have a box of cereal in between the seats in my van, and that's what I'm doing to kind of stay awake as I get to my work. I'll be getting a few. Lately, it's been that honey nut checks. So I get my fix because Golden Grams is like $4 a box or whatever. But
some of the knockoff generic brands can get somewhat close, but to me, it's got to be the name brand to get that.
I developed a gluten allergy over the years. I didn't realize I had it, but with my oldest, he has, like, I'll call it the severe case of it. So I've gone gluten free. So I have to look for gluten free cereals, and although it's not like gluten free certified, it says gluten free. Just whatever.
Yeah,
it's science. But essentially, I'll eat that because it's gluten free, and I'll snack on that. Like I said, a few handfuls as I get to work. Then it's coffee
Well.
the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think the cereal I eat most is Chex, just because I love making Chex Mix, like homemade Chex Mix. So
I can't stand that stuff. I've had it over the
oh
years.
gosh,
Man, if I could pick, I remember my parents doing that for little get-togethers, and I'm like, I would always try it, but every time I'm like, yeah, why did I just do this to myself?
oh wow.
Yep.
No, because the boys, especially now, are just snack hounds, and they'll go through a bag of chips in no time. So I try to make little homemade snacks too, to get them off from us, heading to the store every 5 minutes to fill up.
They're teenagers. That's what it is.
Yeah, just the traditional Chex flavor. Sometimes in Ollie's, I'll find the little packets of the mix. You just throw it in with butter and melt it and dump it over there. And I do it in the microwave. It's a lot easier than heating up the oven. But I do make my own. I'll throw different things in there, barbecue sauce, and try to make it myself. And I do love making Chex Mix. So that's probably the most cereal that I eat is Chex, because we always have a couple boxes up there, and when the kids need a snack, I'm like, I'll make a big bowl of it. So
Nice.
Chex and pretzels and peanuts mainly.
Nice.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's about do it for the show, I think. And any thoughts on what we got coming up, or we just want to leave it a mystery at this point?
Well, we actually thought that because we couldn't recall what we had picked because it had been so long ago. Sorry again.
Well, I think it was commercials, and
was.
it's just overwhelming to just choose random commercials to me.
Right, because initially that's what I had
in.
thought. Pick up. We didn't have a number. My own mental idea was, pick 5 or 6 each that really stood out. Something you could almost on a dime. I won't say recite, but you're like, yes, I remember. Captain Crunch. I remember the Ram trucks being dropped from the ceiling. That kind of thing. Like that's what I remember.
Well, that could be something we could try, and not so overwhelming. Just try to rack our brain for, all right, what are those commercials, Super Bowl commercials even, or whatever that we remember.
But that was my initial idea, and then we started this last 2 weeks. We've been basically saying, you know what, we need to get back and do a memory jogger or two, and we've narrowed it down. Mostly Jason narrowed it down. Why don't we just focus on like cereals? I'm like, you know what, that's actually a pretty good idea, because I didn't think of narrowing the scope of field here.
Yeah. It could be something we can come back to, and we can talk about
there's
fast
plenty
food
of
commercials or toy commercials, whatever,
Heck, the
and
chip commercials. I'm sure there's plenty of those.
yeah, snacks and everything, drinks, and we've done a lot of that on the old Retro Network podcast. But
well, we did a little episode on MJ here. We did kind of like fast foods or favorite
restaurants, and so
it kind of merged.
And and this is kind of over encompassing everybody can relate to these commercials and cereal, which is a good thing. But I also like when we get a little more specific and talk about our hometown and what stuff we had that maybe some people didn't or whatever. But I'm sure we'll think of more of those as well that we can talk about. But yeah, this was fun, and I think a lot more people can relate to these. And leave your comments.
Exactly. Come join us, and again, thank you so much for walking down with us. I think, do we want to figure out what we're going to talk about, or do we want to leave it a mystery for the next episode?
Let's leave it a mystery, and we'll run down the list. I think we were going to try to rejuvenate our list and make some priorities, too, as well. Yeah. So make it a lot easier when we're trying to pick the next time. And I guess I don't know whose turn it would be, but we'll figure it out. Let's just figure it out off the air, and we'll come back to it.
All right. Well, thanks again for watching and listening to us here on Memory Jogger, and continue to follow us on Rediscover the 80s and on our social networks. Again, on behalf of Jason, I'm Wyatt. Thank you once again for joining us here on Memory Jogger.
And thank you for watching on YouTube as well. We appreciate you over here watching, and hopefully that worked out. We'll see how the recording goes It was slow on my end, but hopefully the audio and video will work as we ran down all those commercials. And if so, we can do something like that again, if it's tied to a specific commercials or something. We might even want to try it on Rediscovered with, an episode or something, and we could sit through an episode together if we wanted to.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we actually did, if you're unaware, but we did something similar to that on Agents of Mask, where it was agents watching Mask.
That's right, yeah.
That's when Jason came up here, now 2 years ago. And we sat down in my basement and hooked everything up, and we watched, the first 2 or 3 episodes of Mask cartoon, and we just, I mimicked the little, was it Sonic, or I don't remember who I had at my left.
The
I tried to
Mystery
mimic
Science Theater.
Yeah, we tried to mimic that, and I tried to do that with him, where he would, I'd never watched much of that, but what I remember is the guy that kind of this diagonal, like seating movement, like he, that periodically. So I was trying to do that with this guy to somehow mimic him, but nonetheless, that was actually fun. We could just sit there and comment, just like Siskel and Ebert or whomever, and just whatever. It was fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
But that's where we welcome your comments, gang. We love reading it off. We only get you typically 2 or 3 an episode, and that's fine. But hey, if you got some input, if you got some regional things that you experienced, maybe you had a local cereal. I don't know if that happens, but maybe there is a one-off, somewhere in Chicago. I don't know. And you want to share? Great. Please come at us. And if you have any ideas, it's something that maybe sparked a memory that we talked about, 10 episodes ago, put a comment out. We'll read it. We love it. We love the interaction with you guys.
We do. All right. Well, we'll hang it up for now, and let you guys leave a comment about the cereal, some of your favorite, maybe particular commercials, or just bowls, rituals, whatever you want to associate with cereal. Leave us a comment. We're happy to reply to those. So, all right, we're gonna let you all go here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.